Fox 6 News.
Tonight's big story, a wild day in the Windy City. Representatives from NATO are gathered in Chicago, and they are drawing demonstrators from around the world.
Including a Racine man who did not appear to be ready to protest peacefully. Fox 6's Jenna Sachs is live from the Peace Action Center in River West with more.
Well, about 15 minutes ago, there were actually 2 charter buses outside this Peace Center carrying about 114 people back from Chicago to Milwaukee from those NATO protests. They tell us overall they thought it was a very peaceful day, something they felt very inspiring. But we do know that toward the end, things did turn violent. We know at this point of 45 arrests and 4 officers who were injured. One of those arrests was a local man. According to our partners at the Caledonia patch, 28-year-old Michael Yoko of Caledonia was arrested last night after police found knives and guns in his possession. Now, he's not the only one from our area who made that trip to Chicago. As we mentioned, that group from Milwaukee arrived back here not long ago. They did not have any arrests and returned with all of their members. Upwards of 3,000 protesters overtake downtown Chicago streets Sunday, trying to make their voices heard by world leaders in town for the NATO summit.
We are gathered here in Chicago to reaffirm our commitment to defend the freedom and security of all our citizens.
The quiet events inside the summit feel a world away from the scene outside. After an anti-NATO march, protesters trying to push their way through a police line clashed with officers in riot gear. Protesters threw objects at officers, while police used batons in response, then worked to clear protesters from the streets. Some protesters were injured during the conflict. Yet police say most ralliers were peaceful.
We expect peaceful assembly. We expect people to chant and scream, and that's their right. And, we just want to prevent criminal acts. 110
Milwaukee officers from the Major Incident Response Team deployed to Chicago Saturday. Chief Ed Flynn tells Fox 6 platoons are stationed on 2 downtown Chicago bridges. Their mission is to keep those bridges open. Another platoon from Milwaukee is guarding the train station at McCormick Place.
Our officers are doing a terrific job. I mean, they're well equipped, they're squared away, they're very disciplined. They've gone through a lot of training, and they're certainly measuring up well with their contemporaries from around the country.
And we're told the standoff between police and those last protesters pretty much ended about an hour ago. Milwaukee police will likely remain in Chicago tonight. They may return tomorrow or the next day. Chief Flynn wanted us to mention that the federal government is actually fronting the cost of our officers going to Chicago. He said that he feels that that's the way it should be, and he feels that police have been able to maintain all the staffing that they needed to here in Milwaukee so that the safety in this city has not been compromised. We'll have more with the protesters and their reaction to how the day went coming up at 10 o'clock. Reporting live in Milwaukee, Jenna Sachs, Fox 6 News.
That was my next question to you, Jenna, so thanks.
A handful of New Berlin